have a huge, super, duper, humongous announcement that needs to be said. So, I'm excited because it took me forever to do it with a friend, and I got a lot of help, and thank you for that if you're watching this. Okay, but basically, yo girl made a Discord server, and I've already posted a post about it earlier. If you guys didn't know, y'all should definitely be looking at those. But I'm going to go ahead and put the link to my server in the description, and I'll also put my my user, like, you know, and that tags, you know, whatever, so you guys can add me as your friend if you want to, and DM me if the link doesn't work or something like that. Don't worry, I got you, and I'll send it to you. It's super okay. It's okay. But I'm super excited. Yes, it is not perfect, but I did try my best, and I hope you guys will enjoy it too. I will announce this in a couple other videos, so be aware of that. Y'all can skip that if y'all want, if you've already watched it once, and of course, joins if you have Discord. But yeah, with that out of the way, you now can get fully straight into this video. Hey guys, today we're gonna be reading Carnage X Reader, and if you guys wondering if why I'm not reading like it just went past my mind. Glamrock Freddy X Listener is because they haven't updated it yet. Just letting y'all know, every time it just a cycle goes through and through. Anyways, let's get straight into it. Chapter 27, A Small Agreement. Is it true? FN asked, Loki meeting her gaze calmly. A small smile appeared across his face, though his lover looked nothing more than concerned. Did you really kidnap YN and even hurt her? She asked once more, voice broken. They were both home now, having gone back the second Carnage left with YN. I didn't lay a finger on her, Loki answered. His words were true, yet void of the whole story. He hadn't been the one to take her away from Carnage, merely the one who created a plan. Levi did all the dirty work. Apparently, FN wasn't blind to this. Did you have a play in it? Were you the one puppeting this whole situation? She tried again, thus putting her trust into her friend's words. She knew Loki was able to twist truths. It truly was no use lying to her, and he knew it. Yes, that I did. I ordered her to be taken, and it was nothing personal against her, nor was I aware she was your friend. He explained, voice leveled even when YN started to speak over him. Why would you do that? What reason could you possibly have for hurting her? Her voice was laced with disbelief and a bitterness that Loki could sense. It wasn't her I wanted, but the monster that follows her like a shadow. I need to lure Carnage back to me in order for us to kill them. In all honesty, I did this for you, he told her, which didn't go over very well with his lover. What? I am no part in this, she argued, alarmed he would pin such things on her. Girl, cut him off. Okay, he knew she didn't understand it yet things were going to be so complicated. You are a part of the plan the second I fell in love with you, he instantly replied, narrowing his eyes at the thoughts that ran through his head. Carnage killed the last person I loved. They had laughed and warned me that they would gladly do it again, so they need to die before they have the chance to take you. Maybe they won't do that if YN tells them to back off, she quickly suggested, hope sparkling in her gaze. That light was something he had been drawn to, and he couldn't bear to see it extinguished. You expect too much. Carnage doesn't follow orders, not from her, or from any human for that matter. It's best to eliminate them completely. He countered her suggestion fast, but she already had another response ready. But they clearly love her, and Wyatt made it very clear that she loves them back. Maybe they will listen to her. Maybe if we let them alone, we would know if they would try to kill me or not. She said, moving much closer to him than before. I mean, I would have killed you easily, girl. I would be like, Carnage, kill this bitch. She hurt me. This girl denying my kidnapping and torture. Fuck yes, girl. And now you defend. Fuck you, triple. Oh my goodness. If they try, they have a very high success rate. That's too risky, he pointed out. It's my life I'm risking, isn't it? She snapped right back. Loki paused as he watched her before simply nodding. You're correct, he whispered, licking her up and down quickly. He leaned forward for a kiss, and she didn't object. When he broke the kiss, he spoke again. Maybe message your friend later. Later, she repeated, going in for another kiss. Okay, I see y'all. Later? Wyatt complained, though it was between giggles. Cletus had caught her in his grasp, placing playful kisses to her neck. With her already giggling, the actions felt more like he was trying to tickle her. She had been trying to cook some actually decent food, but the task was impossible once Cletus interrupted her with affectionate teasing. If she didn't get back on track, the food could burn, though he didn't appear to be caring too much about that. Sorry, Dove, you just look so irresistible. He purred into her ear before finally letting her go. He stood by her side, a hand remaining on the small part of her neck. Though dinner also looks just as delicious, he added. She was making tacos. Ooh, I actually had tacos. Well, what a coincidence. I had tacos 1 or 2 days ago. Handmade tacos. It was delicious. Ooh. And was just starting to cook the meat now. The smell of the heating beef made her feel slightly uneasy, but she pushed that aside and continued cooking anyway. It wasn't long until dinner was done. She smiled as she saw Red slide out from under her host's collar, curious and wide-eyed. She purred as Wyatt lifted a small piece of beef up to her. It was downed in a second. The Simnite was ready for more. Sorry, Red, but the tacos are mine. Cletus warned, shooing her away before picking up the plate. He made his way towards the living room, and Wyatt happily followed with her own plate. She sat beside him on the couch, turning the TV on, and picking a Netflix show her and Cletus had been watching earlier. Man, I hope it's a Cuphead show, because I've heard it's super good. Oh man, I wish I could watch it, but it's on Netflix. She got about halfway through her meal when suddenly she felt the craving for chocolate instead, which was a new craving that she had suggested was brought on to by Cletus in Red's obsession with the treat. Cletus, love, is there any chocolate kisses left, or did you eat them? Did you eat them all? She asked, placing her plate down on the coffee table. Red was instantly alert to the action. Usually that meant Red was free to have her go at the leftovers. Dessert before you even finished? You've even finished your dinner? He questioned with a smirk. My, it's usually you telling me not to do such things. How out of character for you. He teased before taking another bite of the taco. Nah, there's still some left. I only took a few last night. I might have some now. She was then cut off by Cletus. You'll be fighting with Red over those chocolates, he warned. The Simnite already staring at her down. She gave a small Wyatt gave a small smile. Sorry, Red, but I really am craving that chocolate, she told her, only receiving a small annoyed hiss. The Simnite turned away to pout about it. We are the ones to crave chocolate more than you, she muttered before sinking back under her host's skin. Cletus watched her for a moment before looking back to Wyatt when she moved to go get the treat. She has a point. Maybe we're giving you a bit of an addiction. Might be a little problem for later when we get hungry, he pointed out, watching her head to the kitchen. She came back a moment later, carrying a handful of kisses. Oh, I'm not too worried about later, she said with a small giggle, which grabbed his attention. And why is that? He asked. He placed his now empty plate down before leaning back against the couch. He watched her with a small smirk. Because you'll be busy later, she told him before popping a candy into her mouth. His eyes widened slightly along with a smirk. She was well aware that his mind was now consisted of not so innocent thoughts based on her words. And what is it I'll be busy doing later? He asked, and as she came up behind him, this better not get, excuse me, leaning over the couch to give him his kiss. Why did I say kiss? It's cheek. Ass cheeks. Leaning over the couch to give his cheek a few kisses. He tilted his head up slightly so she could reach him easier. The dishes. He is watching his mood drop. She only smiled as he sighed. You are the biggest tease, he complained as she circled around to sit beside him again. When she sat down, he instantly snatched her closer, earning a small shocked gasp. She quickly relaxed and let him pull her closer. You could have asked and I would have been happy, and I would have happily cuddled you, she muttered, searching to unwrap another chocolate, but his free hand stopped her, grabbing the hand she held the chocolate in. Oh, this isn't a cuddle, babe. It's a cage so I can take one of your chocolates, he told her, reaching between her fingers to pluck one free. Thanks, Dove, he told her while she struggled to get it back. Cletus, no, I'm craving these. Let me eat them, she whined, struggling her way out of his grip. He only looked more amused by her reaction, paying no mind to her words. You're a brat, she sighed, moving away to make sure he didn't steal any more chocolates. Yeah, but you love me. I do, for some reason. Red had gotten into Wyan's food and was happily devouring what she left unattended. She just watched the seminar as she tore the the taco apart, spitting out the lettuce to get the meat. Well, there, a fair trade. I get the chocolate and she gets the rest of my taco, she said before hearing her phone buzz. She picked it up and unlocked it, realizing she had gotten a message for FN. She better not be one of the bitchy texts, I swear. She quickly opened her text. I'm sorry I didn't message you again. It's all right. If you love him, you love him. No one picks who they end up falling in love with. Was her friend's first message in response to the previous night's message? Then she received another. I talked to Loki. He will leave you two alone if Carnage doesn't prove to be a threat to me. Hey, babe? Wyan turned to Cletus, who had got distracted by the show. He simply hummed in response. You won't try to hurt FM without a real reason, right? I know you hate Loki, but don't go on your way to harm... You won't go out of your way to harm her? No. As long as Loki stays the hell away from you, I'll leave his little boy toy alone. He scoffed right back. Cletus, she's still my friend! She snapped at him for his crude comment. She's a good person who wouldn't let herself just be some toy for Loki. If she were being mistreated, she would leave. Right, I apologize. Sometimes insults just naturally slip, he explained, shifting closer. He gently kissed her cheek, sucking up to her like he usually did when she was upset. I'm sure she's great, if she's a friend of yours, he added. She is, she confirmed, stretching before flopping down across his lap. He smiled as he watched her. According to her, Loki will leave us alone as long as you leave them alone. She explained, good. I just want to live here with you, without Loki messing it up. He sighed, using a hand to mess around with her hair. But so help me God, if I see him near you, I'll stab him with his own knife. She rolled her eyes but didn't respond. She just finished eating all of her chocolate while watching the end of the episode they were hardly paying attention to. A red and black tendril wrapped around one of her fingers. Her ring finger, to be exact. She blushed softly, wondering if the Semite even understood the concept of marriage. Of course I do. The small head resting on his shoulder, Cletus's shoulder, spoke. One hadn't realized that red was linked to her mind, so she was just alarmed by the sudden announcement. I'm also here. Cletus added, alerting her that he was listening in. She hardly understands marriage. She considered it to be the same concept as mates. What's the difference? Two bonded animals who breed with each other. So you two are mates, therefore are married by my book. Red scoffed, both Wyan and Cletus blushing like crazy. Ooh! Marriage? Do you even know those terms? Do you have to use those terms? We aren't just a pair of animals, Cletus complained, Red looking unamused. Oh, please, Cletus, your whole race is very description of an animal. She snorted back, shoving her head back in a motion that mocked an eye roll. But fine, if you're gonna be like that, you are more civilized, and I suppose there are different rules for you. Still, I say you two might as well be married. Not yet, Red. It will be a while before that happens, she told the Semonite, slipping the tendril off her finger, but still held it gently. Cletus has to take me on quite a few more dates. Whenever you wish, darling, he replied, face still slightly tinted from Red's words. I also have to teach my Semonite a few more manners before then. She giggled before letting out a small huff. And now I regret eating all those chocolates, she muttered, still stretched across his lap. His fingers gently ran over her belly. Stomach ache? Receiving a quick nod. He chuckled in response to that. Karma for eating all my snacks, he said before leaning down to give her a quick kiss. Her lips tasted of chocolate, which he loved. You alright? I'll be fine in a bit, she assured him. Okay. Alright, also we in chapter 28. Surprise, surprise. Warren had been messaging back and forth with her friend for a few days now, and the conversation usually consisted of how the other's day was going. It isn't until FM points out a small detail. She realized something might be up with her body, besides side effects having to do with the fact that she bonded with the Semonite. She told FN about her new addiction to chocolate, and despite her need for it, she usually wound up feeling sick. There was also days where her body seemed to want to do nothing but hurt her. She had terrible cramping pain that made her strain to do almost anything. And even Cletus was starting to notice she seemed off. Sounds like a period to me. Are you actually okay? Maybe ask Cletus if the Semonite can have side effects like these. Because if it's not the Semonite, something else might be wrong with you. FN told Wine over text. She took in a deep breath, the scent of her cold leather couch filling her senses. She was laying on it, relaxing after another wave of nausea. She cursed the chocolate for giving her. The chocolate or the Semonite, anyway. The cold felt nice against her body. Sure you don't have to go to the doctor, Dove? Cletus asked, leaning over the back of the couch to eye her. Well, actually, you wouldn't even need a doctor. I could just have Red jump inside you and find the problem. He added, some quality time with Red sounds nice right now because this sucks, she answered, strands of the Semonite matter easing out of the host to slither her way towards YN. Well, you're free to do so. I, on the other hand, will take a quick nap. I hardly slept last night, since you didn't come to bed till 3 a.m, he muttered, Wine cracking a small smile. Not my fault you're forced to go to bed at night without me, she pointed out, running her fingers along the Semonite as it poured itself into her. She watched the final strand snap off of Cletus, who eyed them both for a long moment before turning away. All right, don't break anything, you two. I'll wake up in a while, he told the two of them, entering the bedroom. He was assured Wine would be safe with the Semonite cuddling her. Love you, he called from the bedroom. I love you too, she called back before looking towards the red and black blob on her chest. Most of the Semonite sunk beneath her skin, but some of it still formed a small head with wide eyes. Hey, Red, you little cutie, she giggled, scratching the underside of the Semonite's chin. She purred and quickly went up to snuzzle her in return. Oh, you're so sweet. I will check your body quickly and find what's wrong, the Semonite told her before heading completely under her skin. It was strange feeling red run through her body. Just like, imagine like a little midget carnage just running through the whole body like, ah, what the hell is that? Bacteria. Ah, what the hell? Like piss worm. What the hell is that? I just imagine that. It's hilarious. Scanning each inch of her form to find whatever is irritating her body. Her movement seemed to pause, and a small voice called to her. Oh, she softly whispered. Oh, that's interesting. She purred that sentence. A small warmth filled her mind. Don't tell me what I think you're going to say. She soon figured out it was some nice feelings that were echoing in the back of her mind. Red felt happy and interested, yet a slight spike of nervousness hit her as well. All of these Wine clearly felt on her side of the bond. Red, what is it? What's so interesting? She asked, eager to know. She didn't think about the fact whether or not Red was found. She was nervous about it. She just focused on the positive emotions instead. Perhaps there was something with a simple fix. You are pregnant. Everything in Ryan's mind froze, leaving a blank slate of shock. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She didn't know what she was supposed to say, so she was silent for a few moments. Oh, I'm on the pill? That's not... She quickly cut off by Red, which clearly didn't work. We are in full form, and Simonites are different than humans. Perhaps that has something to do with it. I also have attached to you before. I could have accidentally made your body ignore it. She suggested, before purring and manifesting her head again to nuzzle her. Oh my God, she whispered, sitting up fully and taking a deep breath. I'm pregnant, and the father is Carnage. Oh boy, she spoke to herself, taking a deep breath and releasing a moment later. Are you going to tell Cletus? Red asked, tilting her head, and she looked almost concerned by YN's reaction. So before I read this reaction, I have a question for, like, if any pregnant woman watches this somehow. I don't know if you're even gonna watch this. I doubt it. But if there's a small chance, okay, I'm taking the chance. But why, like, if you're a pregnant lady, right, and you at first did not want to tell anybody at all, was that because you just didn't want the baby at all, or is it because you were just your anxiousness just took the best of you, or because you don't live in a safe environment to do so? I'm curious. I'm curious. If you don't want to do a live comment, just DM me. I'm very curious. Anyway, no, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for any of this. I only have known him for, oh God, I can't be pregnant yet. She was starting to panic now, so Red gently massaged her muscles to calm her. She listened to Ryan carefully, taking notes of this reaction. You are afraid he will reject you for this? Red asked, moving Ryan with her tendril so she was laying down on the couch again, head resting on one of the pillows. It's his child too, mine as well. But there are many things I'm scared about because of this, but yes, that's one of them. Does he even want kids or like them? She asked when... She then asked nervously, we have a child already. Wait, what? Oh my God, was that the girl he killed the mother? She asked wide-eyed, Red hissing at her to lower her voice. I'm sorry, but he has another child? It's mostly mine, but I was bonded to him, which means he went through the pain of birth and all that. Red explained, pulling up images of another red and black Simonite from her own memories to show Ryan. We didn't get along with him. He tried to kill us, and we tried to kill him, and Cletus hated that child, and so did I. But Toxin isn't like this baby. He was pure alien and also breed for the kill. Oh my God, that's messed up. That's not helping me out here. She replied. Her breathing began to pick up and to a start of a panic attack. Oh, he's going to hate me, God. He will kill me. She whined, grabbing onto the cross around her neck in an attempt to calm herself using the comfort of such a sentimental object. Hey, YN, you see that mark on your collarbone? Red asked. She quickly glanced down at the mark left by the fangs of Carnage. You're our partner for life. We won't kill you, not ever. Red assured her. I apologize for that. I had to pause it real fast to turn it off because it reminded me to fix a statue that accidentally fell over in my Beneficious tank. I'll fix that right after this. It'll be fast. Don't worry. You're our partner for life. We won't kill you, not ever. Red assured her. Don't let him know now, please. Don't tell him. I don't care if you think he won't freak out or try to leave me or hurt me. You won't tell him anything, she ordered the Simonite, who shifted uncomfortably from the command. Keeping secrets from her host was something she hated doing. He can't know. I'll tell him when I'm ready, okay? Okay, fine. We will protect the secret for you. That's a promise. Red told her, running a pink tongue over her cheek. And for your information, his reaction to a harmless human baby will certainly be different from a reaction to a Semonite baby that wants to murder him. Red quickly added with a huff. She sighed softly. Maybe I'll tell FN and see what she says. Oh, you're going to tell everyone but the father of the child? That's what I'm asking. Red asked with a scoff. I won't tell him if you don't go around telling everyone else you're pregnant. She added stubbornly. Fine. I won't. I'm just nervous, she said. Excuse me. Feeling Red gently nuzzle her under the chin. The Semonite was rather calming to have. I do really love him, and so seeing as I am now carrying someone that could potentially end our relationship seems like a reasonable reaction. We both love you back, Red replied with a purr. That at least made Ryan smile softly. Okay, just tell Cletus it was something I ate. I'll figure out how to tell him on my own, she said, Red nodding in agreement. All right, and then that's all settled. Just imagine going to the doctor and saying, you're pregnant. Okay. Chapter 29, A Double Date. Wyan was keen on preventing Cletus from knowing about her pregnancy. Of course, it required a lot of excuses, but once again, she's hell of a good lawyer, and God knows lying comes in handy with that job. So when she told an excuse, Cletus didn't even bat an eye. She almost had herself convinced at this point. One thing that has been happening, though. Red was becoming impatient. She kept giving Wyan unamused looks as she continued to beat around the bush. One night, while Cletus slept, Red had risen to the surface of her host's skin to tell her something. You midget of lies will all be revealed when he finds out you're actually carrying and not whatever you told our poor fool. You should just be honest with him at this point, she had told her, which was true. She didn't like lying to Cletus, but she also didn't want him to be upset with her if he didn't like the new development. Well, I would be pretty upset if someone was lying to me repeatedly like that. Dang, you probably would have a longer nose than damn Pinocchio up in here. He had a pretty long nose. Jesus Christ. The next morning, she had laid in bed watching him sleep. He was still slightly holding her as he slept, never lowering his guard too low so he could wake up at the slightest hint of danger. She noted that his hand was gently resting on her belly, almost as if he knew there was something there he needed to protect. She blew a light puff of air into his face. Instantly, he moved, hair falling into his face. His brows furrowed, and she did it again, this time slightly stronger. His eyes slowly opened, locking into her gaze immediately. A moment passed before a smile spread across his face. Morning, sweetheart, he whispered sluggishly, moving his hand up the curves of her body until he was cupping her cheek. I was just dreaming about you, he said. I don't doubt it, she replied with a smile. She glanced at the clock quickly before pulling out of his grip and sitting up. He let out a complaining groan, and in response to her pulling away from his body, I was cuddling you, he sighed, only for Wyan to fling the blanket over his face. Tendrils pulled it away, revealing Red had also woken up from her slumber. We need to get ready, don't you remember what we're doing today? She asked, slipping off the bed. She stretched out her arms, back and a couple bones cracking as she did so. Damn. Yeah, I remember, but I was hoping you didn't. You muttered, still laying in bed. He sighed and used a hand to pull his hair back out of his face. This double day is going to end terribly. You tell me about it. I have a hint it will. Not if you all behave yourselves, she replied, brushing out her hair. Ugh, I need a shower first, she muttered, Cletus slowly raising to his feet. And so do you. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's a bad idea, he continued to complain. We'll last about 2 minutes before a knife is thrown. He walked with her towards the bathroom. They both paused at the doorframe. So if you think it's safer to stay home, we can. She rolled her eyes. This is a chance for everyone to calm down and just have fun. I'm sure Loki is thinking the same thing. You must be capping, bro. You must be capping, because that is definitely not what he's thinking. He's like thinking of 20 ways to kill him, kidnap him, kill him, murder him, anything. That's what I would be doing. Excuse me. Okay, she pointed out as she grabbed her towel from where it hung on the door. Of course he is. Has to figure out where to throw the knife. Cletus replied instantly, turning to walk off in defeat. She almost had a final say in these kinds of things, but fine, we will go. Enjoy the shower. He didn't even fully turn around before the towel was wrapped around his neck. I said you needed a shower too, he heard her say before he was tugged back into the bathroom with her in one swift movement. Why did FN choose just such a sketchy place? It looks like an ambush. Ambush. Cletus instantly stared at the speculating betrayal, though Wyan knew better than to think that. Maybe because everywhere else we'll go, you'll be recognized and be called out for it? Her suggestion was greeted with a small amused scoff. Well, good to know. I'll blend right out into the crazies. But now you'll stick out. If anyone even stares at you too long, I'll rip out their eyes. And he was cut short when she bumped into her side into his. He glanced an apologetic look towards her. Sorry, violence and threats are still a habit. She didn't show any displeasure, since he was right. The place FN chose had reminded her of some kind of rundown restaurant off the side of an alley no one remembers existed. Probably because it was just that. Excuse me. I realized I reread the whole dang thing. She could hear a few grumbles and deep laughter from the tables just inside the door. The smell of cigarettes just come off from the front was just to make her grimace. She looked to her lover instead. Like the poacher he was, his eyes darted the second they greeted the building. Look at all these trashy people. Before something caught his eye, he gave her a small nudge. They're over there. He pointed out with a nod of his head. So before I say, why wouldn't it have been a greater idea just to invite them to your apartment and just have dinner there? Well, no, that wouldn't have been a great idea. Like, what if like you guys rented out, like, I don't know, there could have been something done, like something better, more creative, like a picnic or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit. They walked past a few tables to reach the other two, Wyan keeping a tight grip on Cletus's hand upon receiving a look from one of the men at the table. The second Cletus caught the man's line of sight, he sent him oh my gosh, a glare cold enough to freeze him in place. God damn! When they continued on their way, the man turned to whisper something to his buddy. Cletus approached Loki and FN cautiously, eyeing the two before glancing around the one last time. Unlike him, Wyan was immediately welcoming, wrapping her arms around FN in a hug. She was fairly certain the two boys exchanged a glare with each other at the same time. What's up with this place? It's sketchier than Cletus's secret crack den. Wyan told her. Damn, roasting his own place, bro. Hey, Cletus complained. That's my backup house. Don't you go insulting it. It's trying its best, he muttered. It's not my cup of tea either, but alas, it's the only place to go since we aren't too obvious. No one here would dare call the police considering they're all criminals themselves, and only a fool would take down two supervillains at once, Loki explained, sitting down at a booth off to the side. Ethan slid into place beside him. We come here on quite a few dates. We don't get into much trouble, FN assured her. Wyan sat down across from her, Cletus still by her side. She could sense her lover's uneasiness as clear as day. She placed her hand within his, feeling him give her a small squeeze. Well, thanks for inviting us. What's going on for you two? She asked, Wyan brightening up in a pleased smile. Loki seemed affected by his partner's happiness immediately, the side of his lip curling softly. We're going to officially be moving in together soon, so I can live somewhere other than my trashy apartment, FN told them excitingly, Loki chuckling with amusement. Though Loki's a bit worried my cats are going to get fur all over his stuff. I wear black and green, but it'll be specked with white and orange as well, he explained, Wyan smiling softly at the comment. His voice had been warm and teasing, leading her to suddenly believing that Loki did in fact care for her friend. Because if he didn't, I would kill him myself. Anyway, Anyway, where we at? Okay. Hold on. If a speck of her believed he were going to betray them tonight, it was gone. It seemed Loki did have good intention when it came to his relationship with FN. He wouldn't attack her or Cletus when he promised FN he wouldn't. What about you, Ian? Any updates in your life? She asked in return. The question made her glance around quickly. She had no updates she's willing to share with the table. Her pregnancy had not been revealed, and she wasn't ready for it to be. Well, not really. Things have been relaxing. It's good to just feel relaxed at home. She eventually answered. Cletus let out a small, playful scoff at her words, leading to her biting her lip. She pretty much could sense his next word. Define relaxing, because I think me and you have different meanings for the word. And then he's like, this lady's been throwing up and the whole craziness, I don't know what's going on. Red said it was something she ate, but she continues. I'm so worried. He's like, I'm so worried. I think I'm gonna shit my own pants. Like, excuse me. Hold on. He purred, his hand slipping out of hers and into her thigh. He gave a small squeeze. Let me breathe, damn it. He gave a small squeeze and she assured FN and Loki could see the lack of innocence behind that statement. If her flesh face didn't give it away, the way that she tensed up did. That was a small detail Cletus would have left in the dark. I do not need to picture that. Thank you. Loki complained, placing his head in his hands. FN only widened her eyes at the tease Cletus gave out. Whoa! In front of everybody! Damn! I'm gonna wake up my parents. Oh no. Oh no! Okay. I'm sorry, I just can't stop. Okay. The waiter finally appeared and they ordered their food. Wyan got one of her favorite things that she usually got at restaurants. Cletus got himself a burger with meat, as rare as one could get. Loki got himself some sort of giant salad. Man likes a salad. And FN got her favorite food as well. You two are already living together, aren't you? FN asked. Wyan gave a small nod in return, taking a sip from her drink. How long have you actually been together? She paused to try and count, but Cletus answered for her. 1 month and 3 days. Damn, he answered precisely. Wyan a little surprised that he knew that on the spot. Since we moved in with each other, my last place had been destroyed, and I felt much safer by his side than alone, she explained, casting Loki an awkward glance. He didn't seem to show a reaction to her words. Oh, I see. I guess I've been with Loki for a while longer than you've been with Cletus. I may have kept it a secret from you before. I was worried for obvious reasons. FN chuckled softly, but it seemed like you and me had the same idea. She gestured to Cletus. He gave a small smile, then sighed. Loki, I thought you said this place didn't usually give you any trouble. He asked, Loki out of nowhere, and Wyan raising an elbow. Well, it usually doesn't, but I suppose these people might have just a grudge against you. Loki replied, narrowing his eyes. FN and Wyan exchanged confused looks at the words. You care to fill me in, love? Like, what's going on? She questioned, gently nudging Cletus. He gently laughed, and she could see all the road trails. She questioned, gently nudging Cletus. He gently laughed, and she could see small trails of red and black running along his neck. Cletus? They don't even realize. What on earth would they do without us? Cletus asked, Loki giving him a soft shrug. Well, we can do with this within a moment, shall we? Yes. With that, Loki's one word response, they both jumped up from their seats. Cletus became Carnage in a split second, hissing and flinging sharp darts out behind themselves. Loki summoned some sort of magic aura and tossed it over the back of the table into a few others. Wyan watched in wonder as magic hit the 3 men with a shove strong enough to knock them both and send knives skittering across the floor. Carnage assailants had not been thrown back, but impaled by the red spikes Carnage used as projectiles. Oh, what the hell? Let me read! What's going on? The red spikes, they dropped their knives as well, toppling over and clutching the spikes sticking out from their skin. They had been surrounded, and neither she or nor Ryan had realized it. I'd leave if I were you. Carnage growled, and the men began to push themselves to their feet and run. She hoped they went off somewhere that they could receive medical attention, considering their wounds looked dangerous. The ones behind Loki soon followed, and Carnage settled back down at their table. Carnage melted away and began close once more. Cletus smiling victoriously. You two would be dead without us, he decided, downing his water in a few gulps. That or pretty close to it, Loki agreed, putting his arm around FM with a smile. The two girls exchanged shocked looks. Oh, food's here. Cletus spoke as if nothing happened. Okay, that's messed up. First of all, I don't even want to hear it. Sorry, y'all, I had to skip that, but fuck you guys. Also, chapter 30 was just a quota or something that you could follow the creator. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. Anyways, chapter 31, the truth hurts. I think I would be a little offended if I was these girls. I'd be like, excuse me, who do you think you are? Because back in my hood, excuse me, I know you ain't just speak. You speak for yourselves. Y'all have superhuman powers. If y'all weren't with us, they wouldn't know that we were with y'all. And we would be 100% safe. In Ryan's opinion, things searched for the worst when Cletus and Loki both decided to have a little something to drink. And FM wanted to join in on the fun. She let them, of course, not wanting to ruin their increasingly pleasant mood. Then Cletus had to ask her with one question that seemed to flip a switch in FN's mind. Want something to drink as well, Ryan? He had asked, pushing his drink towards her slightly, which she seemed to push it back, looking off to avoid everyone's gaze. Oh, no, thank you. It's not really my thing. She's like, dum, 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 like, sussy. You sus, girl. She quickly explained, though her words were set on a lie. She never drank too much, of course, but having a little something had always been considered fun when she was out with her friends. However, she couldn't drink out now. Not when she's pregnant. Almost immediately, FM replied without really thinking. That's a lie, she said to the whole table, drawing everyone's gaze a couple moments. You always have at least something on the nights we go out. Shut up, my FN! You're gonna get us, bitch! Shut up! I'm like, shut up! Oh my goodness. Ryan wasn't gonna call her friend out for messing up on her lie, so she just played it through. Sure, but we just got attacked, and I don't want to get buzzed if that happens again. You're lying again. Loki spoke this time, calm yet intrigued, perhaps interested in why she was so keen on this lie. His gaze remained locked with hers for a few long moments. I'm the god of mischiefs. I know a liar when I see one. She didn't have an answer for that, but Cletus looked at her with concern. She placed a hand on her shoulder, grip completely gentle and soothing. You all right, Ryan? You should know by now that you don't have to hide anything from me, he said, not pushy, but still digging for the real reason she was lying. She stared at him, heartbeat racing. She felt as though he had concerned her with no escape but the truth. Finally. How long has she been hiding this? She shouldn't hide this any longer for him. Not when he appears to know nothing but her love for her. Why wouldn't he accept this? She moved away, pushing out the booth and dragging Cletus with her by hand. FN and Wyatt, Loki and FN said nothing. Just imagine if they find out and they're like, oh, we messed up. They just watched as Wyatt pulled Cletus off to the side and out of hearing range. Hey, what's going on, Dove? He asked quietly, the low lighting of the corner room making his features dark other than the light reflecting off in his blue eyes. She hoped the darkness hid her own features with might give off of how scared she really felt. Though it seemed not to work as he placed his hand on the side of her face to calm her while his other hand rested on her hip, pulling her closer. Cletus? She whispered, placing her own hand on top of his. I love you more than anything. You know that, right? She asked, feeling on the verge of tears. Yes, of course, and I love you too. What's all this about? He appeared almost as nervous as her, fear shimmering off his gaze. He swayed on his feet, seeming to find it impossible to remain still while she gave off such negative emotions. She had another moment of hesitation until her words escaped, almost too soft to be heard. "I'm pregnant," she told him, heart beating louder and louder with each second that passed as the truth came out. Cletus was silent, still and unmoving. He was processing her words slowly, repeating them under his breath as much as to make it they were meant that they thought they meant. Then his contact ceased. He took a couple steps back, staring wide-eyed at the ground to the side. She let out a shaky breath. A single tear escaped down her face. "Cletus?" She called out hopelessly, voice broken. Oh no, this is gonna get sad. I don't want to cry today, man. I don't have time to cry. I'm gonna cry, but like in the shower when I take a shower. My eyes are gonna take a nice, beautiful bath with Bath and Body Works products. Like pussy time, pussy clean, pussy fresh. His eyes shot up to meet hers, but they appeared void of everything but shock. "I'm sorry," he squeaked out. Her eyes widened as he turned, pushing it past a couple of people as he bolted towards the door. It slammed open as he ran fast, shaking from impact against the alley wall. She didn't give chase after him. She didn't dare move from where she stood, fairly certain that any moment would end in her collapsing on the floor. She was glad when FM rushed over with Loki right behind her. "What just happened? What did you do what'd you say to him?" she asked in alarm, having seen what just went down between the two. It seemed the whole place did, from all the way they stared in her direction. I told him the truth, and I should have done that," Wine replied, wiping away the tears that fell from her eyes. "I told him I was pregnant." She told him. She explained. FN and Loki exchanged a quick glance, and that fool made a run for it. He muttered, looking off towards the door Cletus had just bolted out of. "Shall we bring you home?" He then asked. FN gently rubbing her back to try and comfort her. She gave a small nod, and the two of them began leading her towards the door, avoiding the gazes of everyone else who had just been there during the scene. The three shared no words, but Loki and FM seemed to be having a silent conversation over with only quick glances. She couldn't care less about their secret conversation, whether it was giving them their full support or shaming her for what just happened. She just wanted to go home, hide herself in the world, and cry. If Cletus was there, she would push him away for a while. She needed some alone time, and badly so. When they arrived outside of her apartment, Loki and FN attempted to talk to her and asked if they could come in with her, but she denied each suggestion. She told them that she would be okay with and entered without them. "At least call me by tomorrow," FN had shouted as she closed the door behind her. Walking into the apartment felt strange when she realized Cletus never came home when he ran out on her. Everything was the same, but at the same time quite different. It was unwelcomingly quiet and somehow empty, despite the furniture and her Cletus had filled up to the place up with. She walked past everything silently, entering her room and slowly closing the door behind her. The second it shut, she was left alone in the dark room. A shaky breath escaped her. It was quickly followed by a series of them, until it turned into sobs, and she couldn't stop the tears falling down her face. She forced herself to the bed, collapsing on the sheets and letting the pillows soak up her tears. The sound of her sobs filled the room quickly, and her hand gently fell into place on her belly where the bumps were starting to rise, just the slightest bit. This really hurt. It hurt so much as it did when her father died. She only clutched the cross around her neck. The item was just not tied to her father, but Cletus as well. Without it, he would never have tracked her down. Her father believed everything happens for a reason, but right now she felt that was the furthest thing from the truth she had ever heard. What reason was there for her to be put through this? Was this punishment for falling in love with a man who committed every sin 1,000 times? Whatever it is, she hated it. At some point, she passed out, having cried herself to sleep that night, something she hadn't done for many years now. A whole week had passed. FN's phone went straight to voicemail, but she didn't mind. In fact, she almost preferred it. Whatever her friend was doing, Wine assumed it was important. She just meant she could rant. She just meant she could rant without some corny response. So, Cletus never came home last night. She spoke into the device, leaning over the counter and letting out a small sigh. I think he's gone for good, and I can't even be mad about it. I knew I was getting myself, what I was getting myself into when I followed along with his little game. She looked towards the window, watching the sunlight pour through. We had our time together. We laughed together. We cried together, and did just about everything together. But maybe my time with him is over, and I'll be able to live with that. I have to live with it, not just for my sake, but also for the baby. I'll raise them just the same. Maybe one day when they ask who their father is, I'll have to come up with some story. She wiped away a tear that escaped her, managing to keep her voice steady despite her inner pain. What the hell am I saying? I love Cletus so much, and I already miss him so much. That will go away, right? This pain, it disappears, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, but damn. The voicemail ended with a beep, and Wyan allowed herself to let out a shaky breath. She shivered as a cold breeze brushed over her. She had left her window open, hoping Carnage would crawl right back home if they never ran off to begin with. She sighed softly. Red must have lied to her that night. Clearly, Cletus didn't love her enough, or maybe he wasn't away on his own free will. Don't tell... Bruh, I'm gonna cry. Like, this is so sad. Like, I've already recorded so much. Right, so that was extremely sad. This hurts my feelings. The end, it gives off a hint that Carnage most likely is kidnapped right now. Honestly, luckily this ends on a good note, I think. I don't remember that well, but I think it does. But man, this crap is so frickin' sad. Oh my goodness. Man, I didn't expect it to be this dang sad. I feel so bad for this girl. Material girl. I feel so bad for her, man. I would definitely cry if I was in her place. I'd be like... Man, I'd be beyond pissed. I'd be beyond pissed. Be fucking on pissed. More than anything. But then again, like, lying, then suddenly telling him on a bar, it's kind of like, oh, shit. That's kind of, whoa. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's insanely crazy. Oof. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. And my question for you is, do you think Carnage will come back? Or do you think he won't come back? And do you think he's really kidnapped? Or did he just literally run away? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. And I don't know. I can't say that she's the a-hole or he's the a-hole. I definitely think that her friend is kind of the a-hole for just like you can be suspicious, but you don't have to say it out loud, you know what I'm saying? And Loki neither. Like, it was literally a drink. If it was like something crazy, then like, yeah, but I think that a little bit of the asshole, maybe Carnage, for just literally running out on her and just saying, I'm sorry. Just like, I don't know. There's multiple people to point out that is the asshole, but there's a lot, man. There is. Now there's also more suspicious because her friend is suddenly not answering the phone. I don't know why. Maybe she got kidnapped, or maybe they tried to kidnap her and they had to break her phone, or maybe something like that. Maybe, I don't remember that well. Also, we skipped one or two quote unquote chapters because they were just updates. They weren't like actual like part of the story. But yeah, this is very freaking fracker. I planned on making this longer, but then I was like, nah, bro, I gotta save for like so y'all have to wait. Suffer. I'm sorry, but suffer with the sad part for now. I sadly gotta go, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye and peace.